Welcome to another episode of Rodis Live. Let's get it.
They call him Punt Slide. Punt the wild guy. Punt Slide. Punt the wild guy. They call him Rodis. They call him the wild guy. They call him Rodis. They call him the wild guy. They call him Punt Slide.
Welcome to Rodis Live. I'm your host, Rodis. And today, we're going to talk about my first whip, Butta. I purchased Butta in 1988 for $100. Times was different then. You could buy your car without having a car note. You could buy your car without having any maintenance issues. It's always good to have insurance, but it wasn't mandatory like it is now. But yeah, I bought my first whip, Butta, the $100 holla. Yeah, I saved up $100 to get Butta. I got me a job to keep Butta. I worked to take care of Butta. And gas was only $1.15 per gallon, y'all. So you could be a young man and own a car at an early age, but you might get a lemon, you might not, but it's always good to get your whip checked out. But yeah, so today we're going to get in a time machine and we're going to talk about my first whip, Butta. Let's get it. It's time for another segment of What's Poppin', y'all. $100, that's what's poppin'. Freedom, that's what's poppin'. Snatch Out Radio, that's what's poppin'. Follow the leader, that's what's poppin'. 1980 Granada, that's what's poppin'. Chicks, that's what's poppin'. $1.15 a gallon gas, that's what's poppin'. Work, that's what's poppin'. Homecoming, that's what's poppin'. Senior year, that's what's poppin'. This episode of Rodis Live is brought to you by RSS.com. If you've been thinking about starting your own podcast, RSS.com is the way to go. They make it super easy to get your show up and running. I'm talking distribution to all the major platforms, analytics to track your growth, and even options to monetize. That's exactly how I host Rodis Live podcast, and it's been a game changer. When you're telling stories, sharing music, or just want your voice heard, RSS.com gives you the tools to make it happen. So, what are you waiting for? Start your podcast at RSS.com and join the movement. That's RSS.com, the easiest way to podcast. I will leave my link in the episode description. Thank you. I'm the Rodis Live What's Poppin' artist of the day, y'all. Let's get it.
I've been drinking light, so I'm kinda fucked up. I've been drinking light, so I'm kinda fucked up. I'm used to the dark, I need that Henny in my cup. I need that Henny in my cup, I need that Henny in my cup. I've been drinking light, so I'm kinda fucked up. I've been drinking light, so I'm kinda fucked up. I've been drinking light, so I'm kinda fucked up. I'm used to the dark, I need that Henny in my cup. Hennessy drank from plastic, set on fire, it's classic. classic. My preference is on the rocks with cranberry. A fly chick, good conversation, chillaxing. Keen intelligence with elegance. We both responsible, tapped and blessed the bottle. Lounging in a Lexus, lamping till tomorrow. Sipping because we're connoisseurs of the taste. Not drinking away our sorrows at the bottom of the bottle. Me and mine ghost in each other's time. Mellowed out, lips locked and intertwined at the same time. We co-aesthetic like the mix in the cup. The look in your eyes, mine saying what's up. Smooth, don't wanna mess up the mood. Let's been on the block for some Caribbean food. So relax, feeling this quality time. The beige fluid got me massaging your mind. We on the same plane in the same lane. Don't want this feeling to end, when can we do it again? Whoever thought a spark could ignite from the dark? Going out on a lark, holding hands in the park. You a class act, I'm feeling your swag. From the beige fluid, concealed in this bag. Henny hug, Henny hug, Henny hug, Henny hug. I've been drinking light, so I'm kinda fucked up. I've been drinking light, so I'm kinda fucked up. I'm used to the dark, I need that Henny in my cup. I need that Henny in my cup, I need that Henny in my cup. I've been drinking light, so I'm kinda fucked up. I've been drinking light, so I'm kinda fucked up. I've been drinking light, so I'm kinda fucked up. I'm used to the dark, I need that Henny in my cup. I need that Henny in my cup, I need that Henny in my cup.
So that was me, Rodders with Beige Fluid. That's what a date was like with your boy back in the day, with limited funds, limited resources, no cell phones, no distractions, just honed in and focused on having a good time with your date. That song, Beige Fluid, it can be found on all streaming platforms off of the Henny Hunt EP. Yep. Things hit different when you get your first car. You start smelling yourself. The girls start smelling you. And all of a sudden, everybody want to be your friend. But that's not what this episode is about. It's about me getting my first whip, Butta. And I bought that thing. I purchased it myself for the price of $100. So I got Butta in July of 1988. So I graduated in 89. So I had Butta by the time it was time to go to school. I didn't have a job yet. I was just going around cutting hair. But I had me a car saved and scraped up me enough money to give me a $100 holler for the car. So it was a hoopty. It was white, off-white with burgundy interior. I had the 6x9s in there, snatch out radio, a carburetor that burnt gas. You could smell the gas all while I drove it, but I had to get it replaced. That cost $100, but it was worth it, and it beat catching a bus. It was cool pulling up to school and the girl seeing you, looking. It was cool being able to drive to work after school, learning and accepting responsibility. It was cool going to homecoming with a lot of chicks in a whip, meeting your guys at the homecoming and parking lot pimping. So for y'all who don't know what parking lot pimping is, it's just talking to the girls in a parking lot, getting their undivided attention. There was no cell phones, only beepers at this time. It was Nokia cell phones and brick cell phones, but everybody didn't have them. You had to be a baller to have one, so of course I did not have one. So I had me a little job at chauffeur's training school. You know, I was a telemarketer. So I called people on the phone and see if they was interested in a truck driving career. And I got a lot of people to call in because I was just keeping it a whole buck with them. My pay at the time when I was driving Butta was $3.35 an hour. Yes. My job was like, man, I want to say on 47th and 42nd and Kildare. And I went there every day after work in Butta, so I could have me a little pocket change. And so, you know, I can maintain as a high school senior. Yeah. Gas was $1.25 per gallon. Yes. $1.25 per gallon. I had a girlfriend at the time. She was so fine. Man. Anyway, I won't say her name because I don't, I don't know if she married or whatever, but yeah, I had a girlfriend and I used to pick up in my car, but before I had Butta, I used to drive my mama's car sometimes, Eldorado red, so it was a red 1983 Eldorado Cadillac. I used to be pushing that like the girls. They used to be, paying me no attention like that until they see me in my mama caddy one time, And I used to be wearing this red Atlanta Hawks starter jacket. I wasn't even an Atlanta Hawks fan, but I did like Spud Webb and Dominique Wilkins, of course. But, hey, I had the red Atlanta Hawks jacket, mainly pushing Butta, I found out some things real quick. Just because I bought the car and I owned the car, as long as I was living under my mom's roof, I had to follow my mom's rules, Man, she'll take the keys instantly, unless I had to go to work. I had a curfew with my car. Yes, I had a curfew, and I had to follow rules. But for the most part, I was moving around, navigating the city. It wasn't no thing. I used to go to the mall a lot, and a lot of free spots, like the lakefront. Chicago is a beautiful place. We got a lot of beautiful landmarks, a lot of beautiful restaurants where you could ride around the city and see these things for free without being broke, without tricking, Back in the day, you used to have to have a little bit of conversation, even if you had a car. Nobody wanted to get on a bus, but you had to respect the rules of the game. But yeah, Butta was my first whip. It was my first whip of many whips. My favorite song to bump in Butta was Eric B. and Rakim, Follow the Leader, and Easy Does It by Eazy-E. And then when Straight Outta Compton came out, it was over with. I was bumping that. Straight Outta Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube. Yeah. So I was bumping straight out of Compton, Follow the Leader and Easy Does It. I had an Isley Brothers tape. I used to bump that when I was in the car by myself on low, I had hubcaps on my car, I didn't have no rims. But I was rolling, and Butta was mine. Some things that I didn't like is I had to wait for my sister to get ready. 'Cause we rode to school together, and sometimes, shout out Steph, she used to be taking her sweet time, and man, I had everything calculated. I was at the school 2 years before my sister got there, so I was kind of used to my own schedule. I didn't want to be late for class. I didn't want to be late, meeting a chick by the lockers or wherever I said I was going to meet him. Just to rap. Man, I love going to school. I love school. But I love my car, y'all. So Butta was the business. $100 holler. I don't think I had insurance on Butta. Yeah, the only maintenance problem I ever had with Butta was the carburetor. And the other frequent problems or issues that I had with the car is my mom, she would take the keys if me and my sister was arguing. Or if she wanted to, show that she was the boss. There was no doubt she was the boss, but man, she made me conform a lot. There's a lot of tricking going on, a lot of snitching. But I digress. So in high school, it was various spots that we went to party. But the number one spot that we used to go to all the time was the Hummingbird. It was on 85th and Ashland. That's where we used to go, to get our house on, get our little bootleg school days cracking and everything. Yeah, we was at the Hummingbird with it. And we had fun. It was girls there. And man, I had a car. So if you got a whip, it ain't much you really want to say, but you want to kind of see who you letting in your car. You don't want just anybody in your car. With social media, people be dropping locations and everything, but back in the day, you could be a little more discreet and have discretion about a lot of stuff. If you ain't want to be found, nobody can find you. Even today, if you really don't want to be found, nobody can find you. But I wouldn't put no track on a car or none of that. I'm sure they had it, but it wasn't that easily accessible. I ain't had no cell phone. You can forget that. But I did have a pager for emergency. I wasn't doing nothing with it but fronting and stunting, driving Butta. So Butta was my first whip, y'all. But I have had a lot of hoopties in my life, don't get it twisted. Like I was saying, I had a lot of hoopties in my life. I had a blue Ford Escort. Man, I like the Ford Escort, but yeah, that was one of my hoopties. I had a blue Riviera. I wasn't really into the cars. When somebody gave you something, you really don't appreciate it as much as you would if you paid for it yourself. It was a cat and a whole family living in my car. That's how much I cared about it. Let me see. I had a burgundy Chevy Celebrity. That boy was a lemon, y'all. It was a lemon. Straight up. Then after that, this is when I started moving up. Moving on up. I had a red lowrider Nissan pickup truck with the low profile tires when I was in the Marines, that's what they was driving in North Carolina. Shout out to all my homies from the South. I had me a red Nissan lowrider pickup truck. I love that car. I had to snatch out in that. I used to have the CDs lined up going state to state. When I went home on a swoop from North Carolina to Chicago, 16 hours dipping through the states, bumping Mobb Deep, bumping Nas, bumping Wu-Tang, bumping everything. Yeah. So after the red lowrider truck that I had got a BMW 318. I paid for it in cash. I was deployed a lot in the Marines, so that tax-free money add up, and I think I bought the BMW for maybe I got a hookup on it. I think I paid $1,300. I went straight to the auction and got it. It was a four-door. The only work I had to put into it, I got the transmission rebuilt for maybe $745 or something, but after that, it rode good. I don't want to talk about the demise to some of my whips. Then after that, I had to get into the 2000s. I got me a Dodge Intrepid, a 2001. My car kept getting vandalized, but I think the last time my car got vandalized when I had the Intrepid was, I think somebody put sugar in my gas tank. But prior to that, I got oil thrown on my car, dirt. I'm the type of person, I ain't finna argue with you. I don't fight or hit girls, but I will get a restraining order out on you at the time and call the police and make sure that the charges are pressed to the fullest extent of the law. And ladies and fathers with kids, make sure you tell your daughters, don't mess with nobody's car. So after that, I got the Benz 190. Yeah. And I rode that for a while. So after that, I got the Lexus truck. The city of Chicago stole it during the pandemic. They stole the Lexus. Brandon Johnson owed me a car because my insurance ain't found it. The city ain't found it. Man, I'm suing the city in the state of Illinois. I need my car. It was paid for. Tags up to date, window sticker, everything. Right while everybody was in the crib, the criminals was getting their still on, y'all. Straight up. So now, currently, I got the Dark Knight. That's what my baby called my car. The Dark Knight. So I got the Dark Knight right now, and I'm chilling with the Dark Knight. I'm gonna ride the Dark Knight till the wheels fall off. I only got 40,000 miles on the Dark Knight, so my car's fairly new. I can't disclose what kind of car it is, because But yeah, Butta is my first whip. This episode is about my first car, Butta, the $100 holler. And this has been another episode of Riders Live, y'all. Peace. You want some cool merchandise? Well, you want to go to riderslivepodcaststore.com. Also, we have t-shirts, hoodies, and drinkware accessories. You just shop, pick out what you like, and your orders will come straight to you directly. Also, Subscribe to the Riders Live podcast. It's on all streaming platforms. You can even listen on ridersonline.net. You can get my music from the link tree. You can access my merchandise store, and you can listen on all streaming platforms right through the link tree. So subscribe, rate, and review to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify for podcasters, Google Podcasts, and Good Pods. And you can also leave a review on ridersonline.net. I appreciate everybody who's been listening to the show. Keep tapping in for great content and episodes. Thank you. I'm dropping a mic on Riders Live. So, y'all let me know, what was y'all first car? What was your first automobile that you purchased or somebody bought for you? Leave that in the comments and let me know what was your first whip. And leave a memory about it. I want to let everybody know that I have another podcast called the What's Poppin' Podcast with Chain and Riders. I want y'all to check that out. It's available on all streaming platforms and episodes drop bi-weekly. You can check it out on ridersonline.net, or you could go to all the streaming platforms. It's available. Y'all check it out. And yeah, so y'all let me know, what was y'all first whip? Whether somebody bought it for you, you purchased it with your own money, it was a wedding gift, whatever. Y'all let me know y'all first whip. So this has been another episode of Riders Live, y'all. Peace.